House of the Dragon is good television. This series has been able to breathe life into the world of Westeros after it felt as though it was a desolate wasteland that we would never step back into. The success of this show is now responsible for 4 seasons of this show now being greenlit, as well as a slew of A Song of Ice and Fire spin-offs being in production. So why is it that I feel as though this show is missing something? It's a good show, but it feels like it should be a great show. It feels as though this show has all the makings of incredible, unforgettable television that could rival the peaks of Game of Thrones, but it feels like it stays in that series' shadow. Why is that? Well, it could be for a few reasons. Maybe it's because no matter what happens with this show, we know how Game of Thrones ends, so there's no point of this prequel. Wrong. Who cares about that? This show follows its own storyline and focus for the Oh god. It follows its own thing for the most part. It takes place 200 years before Game of Thrones and covers one of the most interesting periods of Game of Thrones lore. So yeah, it's not that. Maybe it's because they don't have the funding to make this show as great as it should be. Wrong again. I mean, look at this thing. But what? That's what they used for the mocap for the dragons. I don't think money is the issue here. The true reason why this show isn't as great as it feels it should and could be is simple. This show doesn't have an understanding of what it wants to be, and it isn't firm in which direction it wants to go. Does it want to be a one-of-one adaptation of the book written by George R.R. Martin? Well, a little bit, but not really. It's gonna be hard to do that because George wrote the story this show is based on in like the weirdest way possible. It basically follows a history recounting of the events. Imagine you're in history class. That's the vibe that it gives off. A description of characters and events, but not really like a POV or understandings of characters' interactions and motivations. So this show's gotta make stuff up for a good amount of it. And I think most of the stuff that this show makes up is actually done pretty well. Viserys in the book and Viserys in the show are 2 completely different characters, and Paddy Considine breathed so much life into a character that wasn't given much to begin with. Even George R.R. Martin said that what the show did with Viserys was way better than anything that he did. In the new season, Daemon is stuck in Harrenhal, which is essentially the Luigi's haunted mansion of this show. And everything that happens here is made up. In the original book, apparently, it's just like Daemon went to Harrenhal, was there for a little bit, and then he got an army. That's it. I know Daemon's subplot in Harrenhal is a big point of contention for a lot of viewers. And let me tell you, I think Daemon having a reflective, introspective arc where he challenges his own personal desires is really good. I think it's an essential part of the story and everything. But I must say, after like Creepy Dream 3 or 4, I started to check out. I didn't want to see Daemon have sex with his mom. I actually didn't want to see that at all. Another thing that's a little bit different is Aegon and Aemon's relationship. In the books, it's pretty good brotherly love for the most part. They're loyal to each other and they have unity in their side. But in the show, oh my god, this man Aemon hates Aegon. Like a lot.
I'm gonna be butt ass naked so the wind could just be hitting my balls and shit. Hey bro, watch your jet. Watch your jet, bro. Watch your jet.
Do I want this show to be a one-for-one adaptation? No. But I gotta say, the last time they started veering away from source material when it comes to this stuff, it did not end well.
At least your balls won't freeze off.
Why is that?
Because I have balls. I don't want to see the city burn. I don't want to hear the screams of children burning alive.
No, it is not a pleasant sound.
I don't want to hear it.
You want a good girl, but you need the best.
Does it want to be an exciting show? At times, yes. At other times, I ask,
What are you doing? What are you doing?
you don't need action to keep an audience engaged. A show like Succession wouldn't be better if they just started shooting each other when they didn't get their way. Game of Thrones became critically acclaimed because of its political intrigue. cunning, and slick dialogue and mental warfare are what kept you coming back for more, not this mediocre fight choreography. And this show has put that back in the forefront. You can tell that the political drama of this show is the basis of how this story progresses. In season 2, the Green Council is the most interesting and intriguing political stage. Players like Otto Hightower, Alicent, Larys, Aemond, and Aegon, as well as smaller players like Tywin Lannister and Jasper Wilde. You could see every member of the council fighting for their own personal agenda in every scene, and it's always a joy to see who is going to gain the upper hand. Just the dynamic of Aegon's council and then Aemond's council having a completely different vibe to it, just seeing how the members of the council now have to move differently, is intriguing to say the least. The episode where Alicent is completely demolished from becoming Queen Regent after putting so much work to put herself back in that position, only for her own son to usurp her, was devastatingly satisfying to see. Misogyny don't feel so good, do it? That don't feel so good, do it? You shouldn't have done that to Rhaenyra, shouldn't you have? But then there is an episode like the season finale of season 2. All this episode does is go, dude, next season, dude, things are about to go down next season. Any anticipation of a climactic event that had me excited for the next season is completely sucked away and removed once you get this montage of motherfuckers looking into the distance. And then you just realize, oh, they're not doing anything. No, it's not gonna happen.
You must strike, quickly, while the Prince Regent mulls his next action.
Then do it. Don't even get me started on how they dedicated the entire season finale to this schmuck.
You gotta be ashamed of yourself.
Season 1 ends with the idea of, oh my god, things are about to go down. And how does season 2 end? Man, this shit's really about to go down. Just let the shit down already. Please, I am begging you. This show has a tendency to drag, especially in season 2. In season 1, you jump around a lot. And I mean a lot. The idea that anyone was able to understand everything that was being explained that season is remarkable to me, because I remember being lost so many times. Wait, so Kristen Cole is there, but Rhaenyra's like a baby, but now apparently we time jumped and Rhaenyra is like way older now, but Kristen Cole, he looks the exact same. So how did we get here? Who's that person? What's going on? Season 1 does a lot of exposition across several decades, and so at times, yes, it tended to drag, but it was pretty entertaining and engaging throughout, and I felt as though it was going to pick up later, so I was more willing to excuse it for the most part. But season 2, this season was the season that I thought shit was going to hit the fan. Rhaenyra looking into the camera at the end of season 1 gave me the implication that everything was going to hit the fan. The war has started. Why do we still keep flirting with the shouldn't we go to war?
If war can be averted, it is my duty to avert it.
Rhaenyra, they usurped your throne. You accused them of keeping your dad sedated, and they didn't let you know about it. These people. Friendships end for way lighter reasons. You are allowed to be a bitch about it. Stop being so nice.
I would speak with her myself.
Why are you, oh my god, are you actually going to King's Landing? No! No, what? What kind of fanfic ass scene is this? What are we doing? Oh my god, they can't possibly do this. No. Does this show want to have coherent character arcs? Again, I couldn't tell you because it tends to be all over the place. A lot of these characters are different in the source material. Alicent is different in the books. How Rhaenyra isn't this beacon of morality. The characterizations in this show are a toss-up. Characters like Aegon are compelling because they are objectively not great people. You aren't supposed to love them, but the humanity and complexity that they exhibit make them a character that you just become invested in. That's why I get frustrated with Rhaenyra. I get it, she's the main character in this show, but some agency with her would not be a hindrance. You're telling me this woman that was by the side of the king her whole life, was always in on important meetings since she was a child, can't come up with anything on her own as an adult? Every single decision that positively affects the blacks this season is somebody else's idea. Why can't you just give it to Rhaenyra? It would at least make me be like, oh hell yeah, Rhaenyra is a tactical, political genius. But they don't even do it. She's clueless in like every single aspect. Make her smarter, make her cunning, make her kind of up. That's what I appreciate at the end of the season, when she essentially sacrifices all of the bastards so that way she can just gain dragon riders. That is a morally great decision. Damn near an evil choice that she actively acts on. I like that. Alicent Hightower is prompted up as the opposition to Rhaenyra. She is the face of the Greens. So why is it that she can't do anything? There are like 3 to 4 other people that are more entertaining and move the plot forward for the Greens. And then I see the posters and marketing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want Alicent to be dope. I want her to be dope, but the writers don't want her to be dope, and that is disappointing. You don't have to make her like Cersei Lannister 2.0, but I mean, like, stop putting her in the starting lineup if you don't think she's a key contributor to the team. If she's good at rebounding, don't put her at point guard and tell her to run the offense. She's not that girl, pal. Alicent becomes unemployed, and like most unemployed people, she wades in a pond for an episode, thinks about the bigger picture, but then for some reason, she's just willing to give up her son and everything that she's done for at the end of the season. What, because she's not wearing green anymore? Come on, what are we talking about? We already had the "there's no coming back from this" scene earlier in the season. We don't need it to happen again, especially during the season finale, just so that way people can ship these two with TikTok edits. The whole marketing behind this show is pick a side, the Greens and the Blacks. And yes, the Greens are definitely more prompted up as the bads, and the Blacks are the good guys. But if you're going to make this the basis of your marketing, you should at least make it a harder decision to pick between the two. You can have the bias all you want, but you should make it a harder decision. It'll make for a more captivating series, and especially a more interesting Civil War storyline that you're going for. Have the Greens do acts of good. Have the Blacks do acts of harm. Mistakes happen in war. Put the blame on both of them, because it's kind of both of these sides' fault that this is even happening in the first place. In the last 2 seasons of this show, I just hope that they have a better established idea of their plot, their pacing, and what they want for the characters in this story. A focused vision is a hard thing to come by in entertainment. Many shows and many movies don't get that. But if this show wishes to be what it can easily become, then it needs to prioritize that vision earlier than later, or else the world of Westeros will fall to the dead once again.